Hello, everyone, or should I say, welcome, our comedians. I'm Alex, and this is Nick. We're gonna do something. We're gonna be ranking some SpongeBob episodes from season 1. This is gonna be a part 1, just so the video doesn't get too long, but we'll see how it goes.
It's important to remember that this is just our opinions and no one else's, so we worked really hard on this list, so
yeah,
here we are.
We had to converse with each other to talk about like which placement's which. Some of them I'm kind of iffy on, but it had to be done. It had to be done. So
season 1 was really hard to rate, so
yeah, because I had a lot of good episodes, and there was one episode that really stood out to me. But other than that, I felt really great about this season.
And this list is both of our opinions put together. So, if one of your favorites is at the bottom, it doesn't mean it's a bad episode. It just means there's ones we like better.
Yeah. So yeah, like he said, don't take it too seriously. This is an opinionated list. So if you feel like you hate an episode that we love or love an episode that we hate,
Put it in the comments.
Yeah. Share your opinions. We love that. Anyway, also, if you want more seasons, give us a like, and we will follow through as soon as we can. Anyway, let's get started. Number 41 on this list is MuscleBob Buff Pants, episode 19 of the season. I personally didn't really like this episode just because it felt like a reuse of a later episode we'll get to, like probably next video, Ripped Pants. I felt like there was a lot of stuff like, oh, SpongeBob is trying to impress everybody, impress Sandy, impress like the whole town, even though like he knows that the way he's doing it is flawed. Kind of sounds like Ripped Pants just without the song, which still, that just major decrease.
Number 40 is Jellyfish Jam. The episode wasn't terrible, but at the same time, it felt like it had a lot of just things to make it longer for no reason. The scene with him dancing with the jellyfish went on way too long. I thought the jokes didn't land as well as things in other episodes in the season did. And that's just my opinion.
That indeed, and I couldn't agree more. Number 39, Mermaid Man and Unbreakable 2. I just feel like this one's forgettable. I don't think many people remember this one because it had the dirty bubble and it had the shell phone. And it was like the last episode of the season. It's like, how can you not forget? But I don't remember much of what happens in the episode besides those 3 things. That's the last episode that the dirty bubble makes an appearance, and that, yeah, SpongeBob controls Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, but I barely remember anything that really happens. Yeah, it's just a normal, forgettable episode.
Number 38 was episode 30, The Paper. The episode itself was fine, but I keep forgetting it even existed until I see the episode, and then I almost immediately forget about it. And which I think might be worse than actually being a bad episode.
Number 37 on the list is Reef Blower, episode 2. It's actually not that bad of an episode. This was just on the least of the list because there was like no talking. And honestly, that's not even a bad thing because the comedy in it was really good to follow through the entire time. It's just like compared to all the other episodes in this season, this one is still for the sake of no voicing, but it's still a good episode. It's just iffy on the voicing.
Number 36 is SB129. Actually, this is probably my personal least favorite episode of season 1. Outside the things that became memes, it was just, there was nothing to this episode. It honestly felt kind of ugly. The animation in it wasn't the SpongeBob you could relate to, or it just felt like out of place in its own series.
Ooh, tough crowd from that one. Anyway, 35, Hooky, which is episode 36. And honestly, it wasn't a bad episode at all. There was a lot of funny stuff that happens in it, and there's a lot of stuff that happens between each character. I think the one that brings this one really down is the fact there are other good episodes, and also the fact that Mr. Krabs at the end kind of seems like a whole jerk to even bring up the hook in the first place, for the fact to show that SpongeBob learned his lesson, but kind of mentally disturbed him a lot from that. You get mentally disturbed if someone freaking caught you and turned you into a jar of mayonnaise.
Okay, let's go.
34 was episode 21, The Chaperone. I don't know where to begin with this. A lot of the early Pearl episodes are before she became a really good character, and it felt almost like it was unfinished. The ending needed work, and it felt a little rushed.
Number 33 on this list is episode number 9, Boating School. And again, this one's not that bad of an episode. It just was a lot of it being forgettable, even though I did watch it. It's I feel like I've watched the entire episode, but I'm forgetting. So I feel like I'm forgetting something. That's the thing that's kind of messing me with this episode, is that I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I watched the entire episode and remember everything. And it's no, nothing's really wrong with many of the characters. They were great. It's just the fact that I feel like I'm forgetting something, even though I'm not forgetting anything from the episode. It's not forgetful, but you just feel like you're forgetting.
Okay, episode 29 is in the 32 spot, Valentine's Day. Any holiday is going to be a hard show, but Valentine's Day, I think, leaned too much into Patrick, and the character is, while he's great, had in little bits, whole episodes devoted to Patrick usually are a little much.
Number 31, it's honestly kind of where the benchmark kind of ends of the mid episodes and then starts just being good. Episode 35, Neptune Spatula. It's very nostalgic, very memorable. Honestly, a lot of the times it's just hilarious. There's nothing I can't say that's really bad about this episode. It's just, compared to other episodes, this one's big, but this one's not that, it's not plot convenient to where, it's giving you the same plot from every single episode. SpongeBob doesn't continue to be strong and messy, and Neptune doesn't continue to, work at the Krusty Krab. It's just that episode. That's kind of it, but this episode is very memorable for me, and I love it.
Number 30, episode 34, Fools in April. Fools in April just seemed, it was started off really good and then it kind of got mean. Uh, that can work well if you do it right, but this is where it goes overboard. Uh, Squidward here seemed to almost like get enjoyment out of hurting someone, and it just didn't work well.
Number 29 for episode 18, Culture Shock. And this is an amazing filler episode. It's like nothing happens to contribute to the plot, but it kind of just shows off the characters it's introduced and puts them out to show like what they're good at and what they want to be good at the same time. And honestly, there's a lot to laugh at this one. Sometimes I forget about this episode and then I remember, hey, there's nothing wrong with this episode. This episode's great.
28 is episode 33, Texas. I usually like Sandy episodes. I just think that this episode is on this list this low because there are so many great other episodes. Texas is where the show really started to get funny and show off, but again, season 1 had some amazing episodes, and the song was probably the worst of all the songs in the series.
Number 27 on episode 11, Home Sweet Pineapple. It is a really good episode. There's a lot of funny moments. I love Patrick in this. Spiders, spiders, spiders. Freaking Spongebob trying to find a new home and has to move in with his parents, with Squidward being so happy about it. That just seems like normal SpongeBob formula. It's so good. And just the fact that like how this concludes is so funny and so good. The only thing wrong with this and why it's so low on the list for me is it's like you could already pre-plan what's going to happen.
Number 26 is Walking Small, episode 35. I personally love Plankton episodes, but I do recognize that a lot of people don't. That's what actually put it away from the top 10.
Number 25, episode number 28, Suds. And let me tell you, this episode is amazing, except for one small detail. Patrick, I feel like he's trying to think that he's a good friend, but his idiocy that is happening here kind of just hurts him at the end, and I feel like that just hurts SpongeBob in general. I actually love Sandy in this. Sandy is such a magnificent character in this, and she's always like helping out SpongeBob like through everything that he needs, and he actually needs to go to a doctor for something. She's saying she needs to go to a doctor, and Patrick's just kind of pushing this away from him. That's why I feel like this one is kind of low on the list, just because it's a Patrick hate for me episode, and that's why it's so low on the list.
Number 24 is episode 13, Hall Monitor. Actually, this episode is great. I tend to remember the first half, so I can't put it any higher on the list simply because there are so many great episodes in season 1.
Number 23, episode 6, Jellyfishing, 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 Jellyfishing. This is a hilarious episode. This is a hilarious episode. Everybody just tries to torment Squidward is just being the best. Even though it's like from the beginning, Squidward doesn't really do anything wrong. He's just being Squidward and just hating everybody, but he's not doing anything. He's just hating everybody. I think that's why it's like on the second half of the list, being like, it's it's the fact that he doesn't really do anything to get all this hate, but it still ends up being an amazing episode.
Episode 22, Employee of the Month. Employee of the Month is a great episode, but it has but it kind of has SpongeBob being a jerk too much. I kind of take Squidward's side in a lot of this episode, and it's simply because um SpongeBob's whole attitude. Um there's nothing wrong with this episode. There are so many other episodes that are great that this makes it like a midpoint in our list.
And lastly in this video, number 21, Squeaky Boots. And people, you know what? This is a very underrated episode. I'll say it. I feel like there's a lot of times this episode gets a lot of hate because SpongeBob's kind of annoying in this. And honestly, I agree, but I also reference it a lot because there are times like whenever I have shoes or boots on that like squeak to the floor, I try to be like, "Hello, sir. May I take your order?" in a way so that my shoes say it, because that's how it was done in the episode. And yeah, it ended up being like a really good episode. Plus, this first time with Pearl, and she's still kind of annoying to me, but since your own, this is a pretty good episode, and it really made me smile throughout the entire thing. And that was the first half of the list.
Thank you for watching to this point. If you have, this is our first video, and we hope to make more. If you like them, subscribe.
And I hope you have a terrific day. See you next time.